So today, as you can tell from the thumbnail, I'm building this building here. And I'm basically just going to run through the steps of how I build my skyscrapers, as this is going to be my biggest one yet. And as we make it, I'm going to say what this channel's for and how I'm going to use it in the future. So first, I'm going to finish the frame, which is made out of concrete, and then I'm going to fill in the windows with glass. Firstly, you want to establish a repeatable pattern, which for me is this diamond shape. A quick tip I also recommend is building at night, as it's less strain on your eyes. Quickly want to say I'm sorry that my voice sounds a bit funny in this video, it's because I'm ill, but this video wouldn't have been made if I wasn't ill, because my focus is on the Dave Carroll Smith channel, as I prefer making IRL content, but I don't mind making Minecraft content in my spare time as well. You then want to find the best way of building the repeatable pattern, which for me was building up diagonally and then filling in the gaps the other way. I've also built this building next to it just in case the main one felt a bit lonely, but it is now time to move on to step 2, which is filling in all the glass. Now the glass is filled in, we're just going to admire what we've built so far for a little bit, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be using this channel for in the future. So basically, it's just going to be any extra content I make beyond what I upload IRL, which will mostly be Minecraft because that's what I play the most. But as I grow as a creator and start live streaming, it will be my live streams clipped up and posted on here, kind of like how Blackboy Max and most of the FaZe streamers have their content clipped. Step 3 is to divide the building up into segments of what I want to do for the interior. So for the first 20 floors, it's going to be office spaces, and then it's going to be a food court and restaurant court on the first main structural light bit that sticks out. And then from the second half of the building, it's going to be a hotel with a gambling, gaming room on top and a pool on top of that at the very top. If anyone is wondering why I'm building in creative, it is because I play on Bug Rock Edition and I am an adult, so I don't have much spare time, so it just allows me to build more efficiently and get things done, which I couldn't be able to do in survival mode. However, if this leads you to think I am bad at Minecraft, you would be wrong. I can play any game mode and still be amazing. The first step of building the interior, which is step 4, is building up the mobility throughout the building. So first I'm going to go in and add a load of ghast elevators here, here and here, and I'm also going to add all the floors and stairs throughout the building. To make this elevator have a signal down the left side to call the lift down, and a signal on the right to send the lift up, and then also have a reservoir chain to the top floor to send commands from both the top and bottom of the lift. And then the buttons will swap the soul sand and magma block to change the flow of the water, therefore sending the ghast up and down. But I'm bad at redstone and there is better versions of the elevator online. Now that's done, I'm quickly going to give a tour of the world. So the main area where this skyscraper has been built is the futuristic city, where the Ocean Gate company has drained the ocean. And this is going to be where most of my videos take place, where it will just be building a building each episode. Then next there is LVB Like a Boss's island over there, where he has an empty skyscraper. Everyone should say that that's an L. And then it's the old historical islands which were built years and years ago behind the main skyscraper. Step 5 is designing the lobby space at the entrance to the building and designing the first floor of the offices, which can be copied and pasted throughout the building. However, I can't actually copy and paste them because, like I say, I'm on Bug Rock Edition. I've used shelves to create queue guides and to help create check-in zones throughout the lobby. I've also made use of hanging end rods to create lights like music venues. I then carried these lights through to the offices and used a small blocked-in design similar to real life, as well as using the grey glass to give an industrial feel to the room. I thought a lot about how the high amount of visitors would move through the building, so I added walkways and toilets on each floor, with a communal room with seats and a kitchen as well. Step 6 is to move on to the restaurant area, which I started by marking out each layer and adding this cool stair design around the floor, which I think is quite unique. I then created these 2 stair designs to help transition between the floors. However, I was unsure on which looks best, as I used wood there and quartz here. I then decided that quartz looks best and built up this design for the first 2 floors, which I think is just really eye-catching, as I don't see things built on obscure angles very often to that degree. I then carried on this theme throughout the room until I had all the floors built up to the top where the hotel begins. I really like this as it looks a bit like a maze, or like it's spiralling and interlinked together, and it creates a nice flow to the room. I haven't added any food restaurants yet to this floor as I was meant to, but they can go on each layer over time. I've also added these signs on each floor as we're coming up into the lobby here, which I've built an open plan bar/check-in area with lots of seating and a nice burnt out campfire table thing there. There's also an emergency stairwell between the elevators. As we go up through the elevator through the hotel, we then reach the first room, where is a privacy screen and open plan lounge area with a TV, and also the grand bed with closets on each side, which has access to the emergency stairwell. I then repeated that room side for the whole elevator and the B side elevator, and then come up to the 38th floor, sorry, at the top of the elevator, and begin designing the hall space, which will be public for games for all guests, and will also have the pool on top of. This is why my videos take so long to record, because I break my own stuff and then take ages trying to fix it because I'm not very good, clearly, as you can tell here by the failure to place the observer, which I just broke. We'll get there in a minute, but this video in particular has taken 6 months to make, so if you're enjoying it, please subscribe. And this is also what takes a while, because I'm trying to get a cool shot of me building this up and I mess up placing it. So then I've got to obviously try and fix it and pretend like nothing's happening. So everybody who's watching this is going to pretend like me messing up is not happening, because I don't do that. I'm too good at this game, as you can tell by this building, to be messing up like that, you know what I mean? Anyway, moving on, we've got this nice pattern coming together here. And I also think that it's good just to take a step back and admire what I've made. That's one of my favourite things about this build, is that every floor there's a new viewing point, which will look good, and it's framed together by the structure of the actual building. Here we have the hall coming together with this barrel eye-like design in the middle. I'm now just putting the odd end rod in each corner to add a bit of dim light, as I want this room to be dark, as it will highlight whatever's performing in the centre of it, and just highlight the centre in general. I've also added these stairs, which curve really nicely and fit in with the build quite well. I've also added this little cross in the middle for no particular reason. Now underneath the stairs there is actually a secret compartment, which is going to have the slot machines and gambling stuff within the future. However, they have not quite been made in time for this video, so you'll have to tune in for another one to see them coming soon. But this is just me showing the access tunnels that I've made to get to them, as I quite like the pipe design, as I haven't seen it used much before. That was one theme I've been going for with this build, is experimenting how I can use shelves in new ways which haven't been thought about before, because I feel like there was a lot of hype when it was released, but it hasn't been used as much as it could have yet. So hopefully seeing this you'll be inspired to use blocks that you haven't thought to use before, like the shelf and the sculpt block there. Now this is an old clip that's in the wrong order, but that was just showing me building up the stairs. Anyway, moving on from the hall, I started building up the games room, building this mini golf course and building a pool table with cues and everything alongside it, which you'll see in a minute once I've finished placing this carpet. Just bear with me. Here we go, over here, yeah. Now I think that building games within Minecraft is quite hard to do, but when done well it can make your world really interactive and fun for your friends to visit and look at. So if you're thinking of doing something cool and unique that you haven't tried before, just give it a go, because it might work, you know, which is what this build has kind of been for me. A lot of it I haven't tried doing before, but I think it's come off quite well, especially with the Art Deco style stairs. Now moving on, finally, there is the pool, which crowns the top of the building, and there's also something that you don't really see in Minecraft, like the fact that you can walk from the bottom to the top with lots of different modes of transport. The mobility is also something I've thought about a lot with this build, because I want it to feel like a real city that you can walk around and get to places in different ways. And yes, this is what I hear every time I play the game. The ghasts do not shut up, but we're just going to pretend like you can't hear them. And I'm going to give you a full run through of this building from bottom to top, just so that you can fully understand the scale. Here we have the offices, which have not been copied and pasted because I wanted to get this video out in time to do a Christmas special. So we'll be getting them in a future video. You're going to have to forgive me for the finer details within this video, because I just haven't had the time. And if you subscribe and we get monetized, then this will all start going up quicker and it'll be more entertaining for you guys. So subscribe. As we're getting into the hall now, this is only halfway up the building and it's already taken about a minute of in-game time just going upwards. So you can really understand how big this thing is and how long it's taken me. Like 6 months is ridiculous, and I'm ready to have a break and do a different project, which I'm looking forward to. Building a Christmas tree. I hope you'll enjoy that. Coming soon. And I'll clear up a lot of different things, because I feel like a lot of different YouTubers try and make their videos fast-paced and shouty and bold, which is good for children's retentions and stuff, but for me, I'm not that kind of person. I like to be more chilled out and relaxing, which is what I personally would like from a Minecraft video. As you can see, we also haven't got all the hotel rooms in, but I've used a lot of symmetry within this build, which I feel like is things builders have gone away from, whereas for the average builder it can be utilised to help build things on a larger scale just by building the same thing over and over again. We're slowly getting towards the top now, and we're getting towards the end of the video. But yeah, like for this video I have used a lot of fast-paced things happening to keep retention, which I won't be doing as much within the future, but I have still kept the narrative quite chilled out, which I feel like a lot of YouTubers don't do. That's just like, yo guys, look at this massive skyscraper I just built. It goes to build height, 40 floors. You know, I could have shouted all of this at the start to keep the retention, but that's not what I'm about, you know. I just want to relax and build my skyscrapers, you get me? If you've enjoyed, subscribe. I'll see you soon.